Welcome to this Java full stack demo. Here I am going to share, right, some details about how you can build your career by using Java, right? And also I am going to discuss about what are the technologies, frameworks you should learn to become a Java full stack developer. Yeah, right. So I'll completely give the details about how you can build your career by using the Java JTUE technologies. Okay. Yes. Right. My name is Shanavas. I have 18 years of IT experience, and currently I'm working as a solution architect in one of the MNC. Yeah. And also I will conduct training sessions on Java full stack, Python full stack, and also data analytics platform, including big data, data science with ML, and artificial intelligence with deep learning. Okay, so these are my specialization areas. Okay, so let us start with today's agenda. So today's agenda would be, yeah, so you are going to get complete understanding on what do you mean by Java full stack developer. And if you want to become a Java full stack developer, what technologies and tools you have to learn. Yeah, right. And also, I am going to give you some details about, right, what is enterprise application. Why I am explaining what is enterprise application and its architecture is, if you understand these 2 points, right, you will come to know the different frameworks we have in Java where you are exactly going to use in the real-time projects. Yeah, let us take for example, you are learning Spring Boot. Yeah, where actually this Spring Boot is used in real-time projects. Yeah, so that you need to understand, right? To understand that, first of all you need to understand what is enterprise application and what is its architecture, right? So that later, right, I will explain. So in enterprise application architecture, right, so these are the different blocks, and if you want to build any block, what technology you are going to use, right? So that I am going to explain. Fine. And so what is the actual technology stack you should use for building the enterprise application? This point also I'm going to discuss, right? As per current market standard, right? Right now in current market, right? In IT, what are the technologies you should learn to start your IT career in Java, right? So what Java frameworks to learn to start your IT career, right? You should not learn some technologies which are outdated. Yeah, right. That I am going to explain. Okay, so this is our short agenda. Let me explain what is enterprise application. Okay, so before seeing the enterprise application architecture, so let me explain what is enterprise application. Okay, right. So enterprise application is a computer application. It is a computer application used by bigger organizations, right? Big companies like Amazon, Flipkart, Uber, like that. Yeah, big organization to solve their business problems. So enterprise application is nothing but it is a computer application used by bigger organization to solve their business problem. But what is the business problems, right? So let us try to understand the some of the business problems. Sales management, yeah, this is one of the problem you will face, right? When you are building the bigger applications like enterprise applications, right? How you are going to manage the sales, how you are going to manage the content, right? So how we are going to manage the content. Let us take an example in Amazon. How many products are there in Amazon? There are millions of products are there. So how Amazon is going to manage content of each product? Let us take an example of mobile phone. So if you open some specific mobile phone, so you can able to see some kind of a text related to that mobile phone. you can see some kind of images about that mobile phone. You can see some kind of video files about that mobile phone, some kind of audio files about that mobile phone. So how Amazon is going to manage these many huge amount of content? Yes, huge amount of content, how it is going to manage, right? That is called content management. Yeah, right. Next is customer service, right? So after buying the product, yeah, so how we are going to support the customer, right? Customer, if customer is having some issues, right? So how your application is going to address that customer issues? Yeah, so that is also one of the business requirement. And the search functionality, when you are building a enterprise application, you should have a search functionality also, right? If you go to the Amazon, you can search for many products, right? Yeah. And also messaging system, this is used for coordination, right? So customer can interact with the customer support people to get the issues get resolved. Yeah, that is called messaging system. Fine. So automated billing and payment processing. Yeah, so whenever your application, when you are developing a application, so if I want to make any transactions, right, money related transactions, so how you are going to manage those transactions? So you should have a facility like automated billing and payment processing system. And data analytics, right? Data analytics means, so whenever somebody is logging into the system, your system should predict what type of products you are going to uh, buy or interested, what type of products you are interested. Yeah, so that is called data analytics. Your system should be in a position to predict what kind of products the customer is going to buy, so that it can recommend, system can recommend the user what type of products he is going to, he will be interested. Okay, so basically this is like tempting the customer to buy some products from the website. Okay, and not only this, it is many more, right? So best example for understanding this enterprise application is Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is one of the example to understand this enterprise application. Fine. Now, let us try to understand the enterprise application architecture. Yeah, let us try to understand this. Fine. So if you take enterprise application, right, it will have a presentation layer. Yeah. So when I say presentation layer, it is a always talks about look and feel of your application, right? How your application looks like, what kind of color combinations, what kind of buttons you are going to use. This is basically look and feel of your application. Yeah. This one we call it as a front end. Okay. And also you have a processing layer, right? So responsibility of this processing layer is take the request from the presentation layer, understand the request, right? Understand the request, do the processing, right? Processing, prepare the response, send the response back to the presentation layer. That is the responsibility of a processing layer. Take the request, understand the request, process the request, generate the response, send the response back to the presentation layer. So that is the responsibility of processing layer. So this processing layer also we call it as, right, backend or server, backend or server. Fine. This is the second layer. Okay, so we also have the storage layer. In my application, if I want to store some information permanently, because I want to store the information permanently in my application, then you need a storage layer. So responsibility of storage layer is storing the details or information in my application permanently. That is the role of storage layer. Yeah, this is also called it as a database. We use the database for storing the information. Yeah, so these are the three important layers we have in a enterprise application. One is a front end, other one is back end, other one is a database. But what is the responsibility of a presentation layer? Look and feel, that's it. What is the responsibility of a processing layer? Take the request, understand the request, right, and process the request, right, generate the response, send the response back to the client. That's all. That is the processing layer responsibility. Yeah, so what is the responsibility of database? To store the data permanently, right? That is the responsibility of storage layer. Okay, fine. So if you see, right, the process would be client sends the request, it goes to the processing layer. If processing layer wants to talk to the database, it can talk to the database, right? Here, basically, we are going to perform CRUD operations: create, read, update, delete. These kind of 4 operations we will perform on top of the database, right? So this is very high level architecture of your application. Fine. Let me elaborate this little bit. Let us try to understand this flow, yeah, with one example. Yeah, right. See here, someone is sitting with the laptop, okay, and this is the presentation layer, right? Okay, this is the client. Fine. And now this user, right, this client wants to log in into Gmail account. He wants to log in into Gmail account, right? Yeah, 1 minute. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm back now. Right. So some user is there. He's sitting with the laptop. Yeah. He wants to check his emails, right? If he wants to check the emails, what happens is he has to log in into the system, right? What he's going to do is he's going to provide the user ID and password here. Okay. Right. So that is called presentation layer. Through presentation layer, we will be giving user ID, password, required inputs, right? And then we are going to submit this. Submit. When you submit this request, what will happen is, so presentation layer will send a request with user ID is Ali and password is Ali123. Yeah. When you submit, right, this request will go to the server. Yeah. So this is processing layer. With this information, it goes to the server. What server has to do is it has to perform some kind of a business logic. Yeah, take the user ID, take the password, validate this user ID password against to the database, right? So what processing layer will do is it will take the user ID and it will send the user ID to the server database. Yeah, and it will ask, boss, can you please give me the password for a given user ID Ali, right? It is asking details from the database. What database will do is, yeah, it will return this information to the server. For a given user ID, Ali123 is the password. Okay. Now what processing layer will do is it takes this input, it takes this data stored in a database and it will compare both, right? When it compares both, right, so both are matching. When both are matching, then it will send the response, right, success response back to the user with all his emails, in case for a given user ID, if password is not matching, what this processing layer will do is it will send the error message. It will send the error message to the user saying that invalid credentials, right? And either this success response or failure response given back to the user, So this is one simple example to understand how the client, server and database work together. Okay. Right. I hope you got it. So if you see here, right, you have the presentation layer, processing layer, and storage layer. Right. Presentation layer is look and feel, and it is going to provide the request to the server. Okay. So what server will do? It takes the request, understand the request, right? Understanding means this is a I need to validate the login credentials, right? Understands the request, yeah, and process the request. Processing means, right, for a given input, get me the details from the database and compare it, and if it is a success, right, the user id password is correct, then it has to prepare the emails, and send the response back to the user, right? In case if it is a error, what it has to do, it has to prepare the error response, send the error response back to the client. That is the complete process of this end to end, right? So to understand how the presentation, processing, and storage layer works, this is one simple example, right? So just now we understood what is front end, what is back end, what is database, right? Let us little more, right? Let me elaborate this processing layer little more. Okay. So if you see the presentation layer, that is this one, it talks about look and feel, and you have the processing layer. Yeah. So the processing layer further divided into a couple of more layers. Number one is controller layer. Yeah. So the responsibility of controller layer is whenever somebody sends a request, right? Somebody sends a request. So somebody has to be present here to take the requests, right? To take the request, to accept the request, right? So who is that person? That person is controller layer. From the front end, if somebody sends a request, it goes to the processing layer. Here somebody should be there to accept all the requests, right? So who is going to accept that request? Controller layer. So it has the special responsibility. Controller layer will take the responsibility of accepting all the requests, right? Fine. Next, service layer. So in processing layer, you have another layer called service layer or business layer. What will be present here in service layer or business layer? The business logic. If you take the previous example, you need to validate the user ID and password sent by the client, right? So validating the user ID password, you have to write some kind of business logic, correct? So that business logic should be kept in a service layer or business layer. Fine. Next is data access layer. Here in backend, right, you will be having a data access layer here, data access layer. Responsibility of this data access layer is it is going to connect with the database. It is going to connect with the database. Right. So data access layer knows how to connect with the database, how to perform four types of operations: create operation, update operation, delete operation, select operation. Yeah. So controller layer responsibility is it knows how to accept all the requests and how to call the business logic. This controller layer is aware of it. Yeah. So service layer will keep the business logic here. Fine. You have something called integration layer inside the processing layer. So integration layer is used for integrating more than one application. Yeah. So this is very important feature nowadays, right? Without this integration feature, you cannot see any kind of applications in real time. Okay. So I'll give you one example. You might have all right purchased few items from the Amazon, correct? So when you are purchasing items from Amazon, at the end of that process, right, you have to make the payment, correct? So how you are going to make the payment? There will be different options the Amazon might have given to you. One of the option is net banking. If I select the net banking and if I select HDFC Bank and if I say proceed, then what will happen? Amazon will send the request to HDFC Bank for making the payment. Okay, your request will be redirected from Amazon to HDFC Bank. When you go to the HDFC Bank, there HDFC Bank allows you to make the payment. Yeah. After making the payment, HDFC Bank communicate back to the Amazon saying that your payment is done. Okay. Now, once it receives the response from the HDFC Bank, then Amazon is going to dispatch your product. Now here question is how Amazon and HDFC Bank, two different applications, are communicating each other. For making the payments, we are going from Amazon to HDFC Bank. How these two applications are communicating each other? Yeah. So is there any guarantee that Amazon is developed by using Java and HDFC Bank also developed by using Java? No guarantee. Why? Because these two different applications, right, maintained by two different clients, right? So Amazon will be using maybe Python, HDFC Bank may be using Java. How these two applications are communicating each other even though they have written in a different languages, right? That magic is done by this integration layer. Yeah. So to work with the integration layer, you have two famous technologies called web services and messaging services. So messaging services and web services we use for integration purpose. Yeah. So within the application, if you want to integrate two different modules, we go for messaging, and two external applications if you want to integrate, we need web services, right? And storage layer is, we already know that this is used for storing the information permanently. Now you will be getting a doubt, if I want to develop any application, why I need to split my application into these many layers? Simple reason is for better maintainability of your application. If you want to maintain your application after production deployment, right? So you have to divide your application into these many layers, right? In production, if you get any production issues, right, fixing those issues will become very easy. Yeah. If you put everything into a single layer, fixing production issues will become very difficult. Yeah. So remember that one. Okay, fine. Next. So let me put this complete information in a diagrammatical style. Yeah. So this is front end, you have the backend, you have the storage layer. Storage layer database further divided into SQL and NoSQL. Yeah, SQL and NoSQL. NoSQL means it is not only SQL, more than that. That is the meaning of NoSQL. Yeah, all right. Okay. So you have the presentation layer, okay, and you have the controller, and you have the business logic, business layer, and you have the data access layer, and this is a external application, okay. So when I say external application, assume that this is a Amazon and this is the HDFC Bank, two different applications. This is one application, this is another application, okay. And you have the web services, okay. And from presentation layer, when you send a request, it goes to the controller layer, okay. And from controller layer, if I want to talk to the database, right, it goes to the service, it goes to the data access layer, and it goes to the storage layer. This is the flow. Your application flow will be something like this, okay. So you send a request, it comes to the business layer. From business layer, if I want to talk to the database directly, you cannot talk. Yeah, what you need to do is you have to use you take the help from data access layer. Responsibility of data access layer is it knows how to talk with the database, okay. Next, from my application, if I want to talk to the external application, then what I should do is, yeah, so you send a request, it comes to the business layer will talk to the web services, and web services will talk to the external application, okay, fine. Now you have another scenario that is called streaming data, right? Streaming data, when I say data which is moving from one place to another place, there are totally four types of data available, right? So you can represent the data in a four ways, right? Number one is structured data. Structured data means the data which presents in a tabular format. If you take the RDBMS database, right, there you can store the data in a tabular format, rows and columns. Example is employee data, employee ID, employee name, age, salary, right? You put all this data in a tabular format. That is called structured data. Number two is semi-structured data. Semi-structured means 100% it is not structure. So 50% structure. Yeah. So example for semi-structured data is XML or JSON, right? Not sure how many people heard about this XML or JSON. These are very popular data formats in IT. Yeah, XML and JSON. JSON is very powerful data structure. Okay, so that is the second format. Third one is unstructured data. Unstructured data means data which doesn't have the structure. Okay, so example is video files, audio files, CSV files, right? Images, all these things comes under unstructured data. And you have the another type called streaming data. Streaming data is nothing but the data which is moving from one place to another place. You take an example of Twitter. When you, if you take the Twitter application, right, through entire world, so there will be lot of tweets reaching to the Twitter server. If you take the tweets, right, tweets are keep on moving, right, one server to another server, one computer to another computer. So such type of data we call it as streaming data. We call it as streaming data. Okay, fine. So if you want to process this streaming data, you need a messaging server. You need a messaging server. And what this messaging server will do is it takes the messages and then it will try to process it. It will try to process it. Okay. So this is another layer you have inside the enterprise application. If you see, right, this is the complete structure is talks about enterprise application. Yeah, right. So this is very useful when you go for an interview, right? People will ask, can you please explain about your project? When somebody asks, right, you have to explain your project by using this architecture. Yeah, right. So this is very useful actually. Fine. So this is enterprise application architecture. Yeah. And now, and these are the building blocks of enterprise application. When you get a job, when you join in some organization, right, so you are going to develop the Java applications, right? So that Java applications architecture is this one. The application architecture is this one. Okay, and now this is one block, this is another block, another block. All these are building blocks of enterprise application. Fine. Now question is, but if I want to build this, what technology I should use? If I want to build this, what technologies I should be using? This one, what technologies we should be using, right? This one, what technology I should be using, right? So you should know all these technologies to build the enterprise application. Let us see the technology stack. If I want to build this block, right, so you will be using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript. This is a TypeScripting means JavaScript. TypeScripting means advanced JavaScript, and React and Redux. This is a very popular framework to develop the front end. Yeah, React JS. Okay, right. These are the tools we use in front end. And next is server service, right? Service or business layer. We will be using Spring Boot here. Okay, Spring Boot is the framework we use in service layer or business layer. Okay, if I want to build a data access layer, we will be using Spring Data JPA, right? So this is a Spring Data JPA is a framework we use for building the data access layer. Yeah, right. And for storing the data into the database, we will be using Postgres or MongoDB. Yeah, Postgres is a SQL database. MongoDB is a NoSQL database, right? NoSQL database is, right, it is very powerful nowadays, right? Very, very powerful. Yeah. So if you see this Mongo, right? Mongo word is taken from humongous word, humongous. Humongous means huge, large, right? If I want to handle the large data, then you should go with MongoDB. Yeah, MongoDB always talks about handling the large amount of data. Okay, fine. And if I want to develop the web services, you have a framework called Spring REST framework. Spring REST. Spring REST is a framework which is used for developing the web services. Okay. Anyway, you will be using the Java language in all the places. In all the places. Okay. Fine. So you have another framework called Kafka. Kafka is used for building the messaging systems, right? Messaging system, and this is also very powerful framework which real time, right, many applications are using Kafka is a framework. Yeah, so these are the technologies and the tools or frameworks you should be learning if you want to become a Java full stack developer. If you know only these frameworks, only this one, right, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript and React JS, if you know this, you will be called as front end developer. If you know only this one, right, Spring Boot, Spring Data JPA, Spring REST, or MongoDB, right? If you know this Kafka, if you know this, then you will be called as backend developer. If you know both, right, then you will be called as Java full stack developer. Full stack developer knows front end and back end. Both he will be knowing. Yeah, this is a this is having huge demand in the market. Full stack developers having huge demand in the market, right? I hope you got what I'm trying to explain here. Okay, I will take a pause here, and if you have any questions, I will take the questions. So you people are able to follow me. You have any questions? You can ask me any type of questions. I am happy to explain. Yeah, right. If you didn't understand any component, please let me know. I will explain one more time. Not a problem. Ganesh, other people, you people understood this? Shall I proceed? Shilpa, Suhera, right? You people are following? Okay, fine. Let me proceed then. Okay. So this talks about what are the technologies you should be using for developing the enterprise applications. Okay, yeah. So if you take I'm taking one banking application. Yeah, so let me take this banking application. So this banking application is having accounts module, loan module, and cards module, right? Three different modules you have. Then you will be having the different teams, right? Different teams you will be having. This team is responsible for developing the UI part, right? This team is developing only accounts module. This team is developing loans module. This team is developing cards module. Yeah, when you develop the code, what is going to happen is, yeah, when you develop the code, right, different teams develops the code, they have to maintain the code in one place, right? So you wrote some Java code. Yeah, this team has written, this team has written, this team has written, this team has written. How they exchange this code between different teams, right? How this team is going to give this code to other teams, right? So for that one, we need a tool called Git. You need a tool called Git. Git is a central repository where different people will push their code into the Git after writing the code, so that even though your laptop is crashed, no problem, your code is present in a Git repository. Yeah, okay. So whenever you write the code, right, different people writes the code, you push the code into the Git repository. Git repository is the place where you can maintain all the code base, right? After that, we have one tool called Jenkins. What this Jenkins tool will do is, it takes the code from Git, it takes the code, and it will compiles the code. It compiles the code. It will check, is there any errors in the code or not? It compiles and it builds it. Build means making one file, common file, right? Build it and deploy this complete code into the server. This is a server actually. Yeah, this is the server. In this server, it is going to deploy the UI code, accounts code, loan code, cards code, everything will be deployed here. Yeah, you have the database. Okay, and now anyone can able to access your application. Let us take Amazon, right? Amazon is having different modules, right? They will develop different modules. They put the code in a Git. There is a Jenkins tool. It will take the code, build the code, deploy the code into the server. So this is the normal development life cycle of any software application. Yeah, if you want to develop any software application, this is the process we follow. Why I am explaining this one is, yeah, apart from Java tools, right, you have to learn some other tools, right? If you want to become, right, more full stack developer, right? Apart from the Java technology, you have to learn few more tools. That is what I am trying to explain. Okay, that is one of the tool is Git. Another tool is, right, Jenkins. Another tool is called something called Docker. There is a concept called Docker. These tools, right, nowadays it is very popular in the market. At least, right, you should have some basic knowledge. So why you should know, right? So there should be some difference between you and other Java people, right? For example, some 100 people are there. 100 people will keep they know Java, right? So why recruiter should recruit you, right? Tell me, you should have some kind of a special technologies you should know comparing to the other developers. Yeah. So you should not say I know only Java. You should be familiar, or at least you should have a basic understanding of what are the complete tools and technologies we use in a real time. Yeah. If you have that, right, you will have more advantage actually. Yeah. So you will be preferred when you go for an interview, right? So somebody is asking, do you know the Git? You should not say I don't know the Git, first time I am hearing, right? If somebody asks, you know the Jenkins. If somebody asks, you know the Docker. Yeah. So you should not say I don't know. At least you should have a basic understanding of what is GitHub, what is Jenkins, what is Docker, what is JUnit other than Java, what is Spring Boot, what is Kafka, what is MongoDB. You should have that knowledge, right? So that you will be very much aligned with the current market standard. Yeah. If you say, keep on saying I know only Java, I am a fresher, nobody will accept. So what is the difference between you and other person, right? There should be some differentiation between you and other people, right? So everybody will keep Java in the resume. Why recruiter will recruit you? Tell me. You should show some kind of difference in your CV and your knowledge. Yeah, that makes very difference actually. Yeah. So that is why we are also covering other than Java tools, right, which are used in the real time project. We are going to cover as part of this project. Yeah, this course. Okay. So this is the real time projects, right? Development and the deployment, end to end process. Yeah. So let me tell you here, what are the tools we use. Okay, what are the tools we will be using. So if you see here, you will be using HTML and CSS and Bootstrap for front end, and you will be using Java language, and you will be using advanced Javas, right? JSP servlets. Why these are in red color? These are outdated. Yeah. If you see, right, most of the people still they are teaching, but this is not in use, right? So there is a latest technology called time leaves. There is a latest technology called time leaves, but we are also going to cover this JSP servlets as part of this course. This is only for to handle the interviews, but not in real time projects. Okay. So in one of some of the interviews, right, interviewer will ask some questions from the JSPs and servlets, right? Okay, fine. And Spring framework, right? Spring framework is a one of the framework which we use for developing the processing layer or business layer. So here there are two concepts, IOC and MVC, inversion of control, model view controller. Fine. And these are the tools and the technologies you should be learning: Spring Boot, RESTful service, Spring Data, JPA, security, MongoDB, Kafka, Git, right? And React.js and Redux. Yeah. And you have the typescripting. Typescripting means it is a advanced JavaScript. Yeah. Maven, you are going to learn. See here, Maven. Maven is a tool. Yeah. So Maven is a tool. It is not Java related, but it is a tool used in Java projects. Yeah. You should have a understanding of what is Maven. So you have one more tool called Agile Scrum model, right? This is the process actually. If you go to any project, right, 100% people will use this Agile and Scrum. Without Agile and Scrum, your project will be incomplete. So you should not say I'm only Java, right? You should have some knowledge on Agile and Scrum model also. Fine. And Jira is a tool. Okay. So Jira is a tool. These are not Java related, right? But these are the tools we use in real time. At least you should have some basic understanding of these tools. Yeah. Right. And Spring Tool Suite is the IDE, that is the integrated development environment, where you write the Java code. Yeah. So if I want to write the Java code, so you have so many options, right? One of the option is you can use the Notepad. Yeah, Notepad. So you writing Java code by using Notepad is very difficult. You cannot use this Notepad like this. You have the IDEs. So and one of the IDE is Spring Tool Suite, right? A Spring Tool Suite. IntelliJ, right? As part of this course, I'll be covering Spring Tool Suite. You will be learning Spring Tool Suite. Yeah. Right. So these are the tools and technologies you should be familiar other than Java, right? If you see all these things, right? Git, Maven, Agile, Jira, right? STS. These are the not only Java tools, these are the common tools we use in um, uh, enterprise application development or in any real-time projects. Yeah. So as part of this course, I'll be covering these topics, right? Not only these topics. So common tools which are used in Java projects. That also I'm going to cover. Yeah, right. So why KVR TechMinds? Yeah. So here all the faculty, right, who works under KVR TechMinds, right? Everybody is working professionals. Whoever is taking the sessions or conducting the sessions at KVR TechMinds, right? They are real-time professionals who is having more than 15 years of experience, right? All our faculties are like-minded people, right? They want to share the knowledge, right? What they have gained in a real-time projects. Yeah. So all the faculties in KVR TechMinds are real-time professionals, right? They are working professionals. Yeah. So we follow at KVR TechMinds, right? Learn while doing approach, right? So here not only theory, we will be teaching hands-on approach, right? So you learn the theory and implement it. Likewise, you can explore more, right? We follow learn while doing approach, right? Theory practicals. Yeah, right. And all topics will be covered with plenty of real-time practical exercises, right? Yeah, all topics. So we also provide the topic wise material. You will get the soft copy of the material topic wise. Yeah, so that you can refer. Yeah, we train latest technologies and tools. We never teach to the students outdated technologies like JDBC, JSPs, servlets, right? Old technologies we never teach. Our curriculum is, it is always aligned with the current market standard. Yeah, right. You can directly go and work in any real-time projects. Okay, 100% learner satisfaction. Yeah, until unless you get the topics, we never go to the next topic. We'll give the 100% learners satisfaction. Yeah, and after completing the training, our plan for your job readiness, right? So that is, we provide extra training for arithmetic reasoning and communication skills, right? Not only Java, you are going to learn this arithmetic reasoning and communication skills as well. 100% placement assistance will be provided until you get a job. Yeah, right. So learn, all the learners, right, will get 6 months internship certificate, right? This is not a course completion certificate. This is a internship certificate. You can convert this into a experience, right? So you can say you are working at a KVR TechMinds as a internship, right? So you are doing the internship at KVR TechMinds. You can say that, you can show that, right? This is not a course completion certificate. It is more than that. Fine. And we will help you to build the resume. Yeah, and we'll conduct the mock interviews and we'll give the counseling, right? So we will make sure you will get ready for the facing the interviews. Fine. So helps the candidate to register and upload the CVs into different portals, job portals. Yeah, and we support until you get the placement. Okay. Yeah, so our team will support you until you get the placement. Fine. Yeah, so that's all from my side. Yeah, so if you have any questions, concerns, you can ask related to the topics. Yeah, okay, so I can answer to your questions now. Anyone? Okay. Hi Vidyasagar, I am done with my side. So if you have any details, you can share. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we'll stop the session here. And thanks for your time. Yeah, bye everyone. Shall